I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
I love what the subject was right before.
You should all guess as to what it was. We might tell you at the end what it was.
Maybe. I don't know. That's dangerous territory.
I'd be impressed if someone actually guesses it, because that would be like a pretty good achievement. Very specific.
Would be very, very specific.
Hello,
man.
everybody. It is
Hi.
Soundbooth Theater Live time. We are live here on Soundbooth Theater Live. It says so right here in the corner that I'm looking at. And I
It's
believe
written
it.
down, so it's true.
It's right. That's why we're so important, because we tell people what's written down.
And we're on
That's
the
it.
internet.
And we're on the internet. That's
Which
true.
makes us even more legit.
So we have Mr. Gary Simmons in the audience right now. We have Mr. Dustin Jackson. We have D-Prof. Oh, that's confusing. He's right here.
I hate that deep rough guy in the
That
comments.
fucking guy. We got Nix. We got John Sevier.
Sevier?
Sevier. We got
Severe.
Argyros. Our heroes.
Our heroes?
Our
Our
heroes.
heroes?
We have Remy Leton.
Latinia? Latinia?
Pretty sure it's French. Pretty sure.
Lantenia? Could be
Might
Italian.
be-
I don't know, though. I have no idea. I'm very sorry for not being able to pronounce your name
It's the
correctly.
Remy part that I'm.
Remy.
Remy. Cheroy.
Cheroy
I don't know,
Archie?
That's probably not French, but I'm gonna say it with a French accent anyway. Cheroy Archie.
Just all the names are now French.
Now you guys are all
Everyone's
French.
French now.
Deep prof.
The prof, yes.
Welcome back, Cheroy.
Gary Furlong. Okay, so we have a great show for you today, and we're
Geoffres.
so goddamn excited right now because it's our birthday weekend. So the Soundbooth Theater's app, the SBT Direct store, our website. Basically, it's been a year. It's been a year.
That's a big achievement, man. Well
kind
done.
of like fell on our faces, but it was fine. You know, we just dusted ourselves off, got back up, changed the plan, and yeah, people are buying our stuff. People are listening to our stuff on our app. That's very exciting. So we just want you guys to listen to more, and you probably will be this weekend on Sunday, on Halloween. We're celebrating our birthday, and it's going to be $5 or less for every audiobook in our store. $5
Every
or
single
less.
one.
Man, like an Audible credit gets you one, and that's worth $10. You can get 2 books for what you could normally get on Audible on the site.
And that's only if you like buy the stuff that's expensive, because you know what's less than $5 also is $0, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that costs $0. There's already a lot of stuff.
There's
that
already
costs
a
$0.
ton.
There's
That
already
really
a
good stuff
ton.
that's free. You should go
Yeah.
right there now. Stop listening to this.
So
don't
yeah,
go it.
I
No,
mean,
don't go
I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with that. So no. Ahmed's
Multiple
here. Let's be
screens.
respectful. Okay. Yes. So the deep dive stuff will be $5. Yes, that's correct, Nix. So we also have. I'm so embarrassed at how long it's taken to get this out, but Monster Hunt 2 is finally hitting our store October 31st. That is the sequel to basically our magnum opus from a couple years ago. Annie and I and Aaron J. Morton worked so goddamn hard on the first book. I mean, especially me, I guess, because I composed the music, I performed most of it, and I performed the music, and I did all the sound effects myself, almost, until I was like, I can't do this anymore, and I handed it off to Griffin and to Ahmed to get it done. And it was, they had to just clean it up. But it was mostly done when I handed it over, so holy shit, man. It's been a long time, and finally Monster Hunt 2 is out, and I can say with absolute confidence that it's even better than Book 1. I handed the sound effects pretty much all the way to Ahmed this time, and if you guys haven't noticed, it's because you haven't been listening to our deep dives. Ahmed just keeps getting better and better and better, and he definitely kicks my ass when it comes to sound design now. So, Ahmed
Kicks
took
all
care
of
of the
us around
sound
the
effects.
place.
Aaron did some extra composing and performance in this. He took some more of the load, so we finally got it done, and I'm so proud of it. It's coming out on Halloween. If you haven't listened to the first Monster Hunt, that's going to be $5. Monster Hunt 2 is going to be $5. Entire series, $10.
Boom.
That's
And then we
fucking
have
bargain.
then we just have one more book to produce, and it won't take 2 years this time, I promise. But along with Monster Hunt NYC 2, we are getting Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon by Matt Dinneman. And first of all, Matt, when I told Matt I wanted to do this, I was like, okay, we got to get a guy to take it and convert it into a script. And he's like, wait, no, let me do that. So he did it. He actually edited it down and added a few things and completely crafted the script around being an audio drama. And he did a perfect job. It was way easier for us to work on this than anything that we've worked on because it was all spelled out for us. So I didn't have as much work to do. Matt did a lot of heavy lifting on it. I showed it to him already, the recording, a rough draft of the recording. He's given me thumbs up. He's ready to go with it. I can't wait for you guys to check out Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon, Episode 1, The Mural. Again, Ahmed Mahmoud knocks it out of the fucking park with the sound effects work. Aaron J. Morton composed a chilling and epic score. And we have Miss Andy Parsnow playing Banksy, the gut hook, and Dory Sachs playing Clara. So, wonderful production. I can't wait for you
Just
guys
a good time all
to
around.
check it out.
Sounds fantastic.
If you want to get a little taste, go to our channel, go to videos. The Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon teaser is on our YouTube channel right now. It's just like 12 minutes of it. And yeah, it's thrilling. So we got that news. Do we have any releases today? That's one thing I forgot. Do we have releases today? Yes, I think we do. We have another piece of free media, Hellfighter. It's by Ed Wetterman.
Nice.
It's one of the Tales of the Weird Wars, narrated by Justin Thomas James, supported by Dory Sachs. And that one's free. Dude, guys, go pick up all the free shit. Soundbooththeater.com.
Free is my favorite flavor. Go for it.
And
delicious.
We have one other thing that's happening on our YouTube channel. Will is doing something really cool. I actually watched this video.
Yep.
So
Of
sorry
him
today.
basically directing for anyone who wants to do backup vocals, who wants to be the Walla, basically, wants to be an extra in his upcoming audiobook. So go to our YouTube channel, find the video with
You just need a phone.
Will's
That's all
handsome
you need.
face on it. All you need is any kind
That's
of
it.
microphone. It doesn't matter. And follow along with the YouTube video, do what he says, and send your file to him. Everything's laid out so perfectly. Everything's so... I mean, like, he organized this so well. I cannot wait to hear the result of this. But yeah, that means everyone here listening, anyone who's a fan of Soundbooth Theater, you can be included in Will's next audio for us, Heavenfall by Leo Petracci.
Plus, then you can just look at his handsome face.
Yeah.
And hear
Exactly.
his voice.
It's a win-win.
Just stare
17
longingly
minutes.
into his eyes.
Exactly.
free.
And he'll never even know.
He won't know.
Nah.
You can tell him, though. I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
Yeah, he would. He would. So, yeah, that's the news for today. So, let's move on to some anti-hero chronicles.
Good.
Unfortunately, Sorely will be Justin is not with us
Sorely
today.
missed.
Sorely missed.
Oh!
Justin.
Oh, man.
But Gary's been practicing
standing in.
his Christopher Nolan's Batman voice, so I think he's got
Perfect.
it. I
We'll
think
give it
he'll
a
be
go.
all right.
I'm no Justin, but we'll give it a go.
We'll give it a good shot. How's that?
Sneaky. Pfft, wow. Cool.
Ready when you guys are. I get that you're upset. Upset? Easto, the longer that Sorley is in custody, the sooner he'll be broken by that damn interrogator. When she breaks his mind open, she'll see everything we've done. I know that. And when that happens, how far we've come, everything that's been done, gone, up in smoke. You don't know that. Yes, I do. It's what happened every single time, Easto. Every time. Every time we try to put together this grand plan to put things back like they were, this fucking happens. That's enough, Malika.
The supplier's hunched pacing stopped. She stood, fully upright, and glowered at the lawyer.
Do not call me that, Isto Raita. We're not talking about that right now. You seem to have forgotten why we're doing this. Why, after gods know how many attempts, we're doing this again. You know that's not... No, I don't. You're getting reckless, putting yourself out in the open, not using your projections, gearing up like you're going to go fight this war yourself.
The supplier scuffed a hoof against the linoleum, leaving a sharp gouge behind.
You need to remember... You need to remember why we swore that we wouldn't act ourselves, why we would use a proxy, why we can't take direct action. I do remember, Isto. I was there. Remember?
Malika Cross, hero name Red Magus, the arcane hero. Impressive. I haven't seen a recruit fresh from exams assigned to the Global Protectorate in quite some time. The coordinating officer said after dropping the file back onto the table. Too bad they got a designation wrong. Red Magus? More like Red Bangus, am I right? Stow it. Malika held up a hand.
I can take care of this. Thank you, officer.
What are you gonna do about it, Toots?
Toots? Toots? My name is Malika Cross. Hero designation, Red Magus, the arcane hero. You are Henry Fitz, hero designation Presto, the hat-trick hero. Now tell me.
Malika held her right hand out to snap the man's limbs tight against his body, and held him off the floor of the facility by 6.5 feet.
Who here should be calling who Toots? Presto was a fool and a fake. He deserved it. You're not wrong, Mal, but that was your first day. You know what they say about first impressions. And look where that's gotten you. Dismissed out of hand by one of the few that sorely trusts. And what about you, Isto? Catherine Knight rejected you just as easily. I'm not the one throwing a fit about it. And why aren't you, Isto, You've invested a lot of time in that boy. You were proud of him the last time I saw you two together. Why don't you care that they won't help us to help him?
The supplier stalked toward Isto with the question.
Because Psyker isn't going to be able to break the boy, Malika. And how do you know that?
Isto folded his arms over his chest and smirked.
Maybe if you'd hung around to talk with him, you would know. Know what, Isto? He's been visited, Mal, by 2 of the old ones.
Sorley's body burned from the inside. Fire pumped through his veins. Billowing smoke swelled in his muscles. Get out of my head! Sorley cracked his forehead across the bridge of Psyker's nose. She tumbled off of him, clutching at her face and groaning. Sorley grunted with effort as he wrestled against his frozen restraints. Deep cracks formed in the ice, threatening to break apart before he felt the loosened chunks pressing against his body. What the... Sorley looked up. Psyker was levitating 6 inches off the ground. There was an indigo shimmer outlining her. The whites, irises, and pupils of her eyes were gone, replaced with a violently glowing violet. And the immaculate bun atop her head unfurled into a floating mass of hair, undulating on repeat as she held her hands out. The table, chairs, and torn-up chunks of the concrete wall and floor slammed against him and constricted. Sorley uttered his new catchphrase. Shit.
You should have told me!
Isto pulled himself out of the wall, right next to where he'd planted the house-sized construct not too long ago, and brushed himself off.
Mal,
The supplier unleashed another arcane bolt at Isto's chest. He outstretched his hand and caught it in his palm, crushing it against his viridian aura.
We had a deal, Isto! You...
Isto vanished from his spot and reappeared directly in front of the supplier.
Had every intention of following through. You kept yourself too far from him, Malika.
The supplier slammed her fists against Isto's chest, met with a hollow pong as she impacted the protection of his aura.
Why didn't you?
Isto caught her wrists and held.
That's enough, Mel.
The supplier gritted her teeth and leveled a glassy glare at Isto. He pushed her wrists into her chest and wrapped his arms around her shuddering shoulders.
That's enough. It's simple, Miss Cross. You accept what must be a new record for internal transfers, or the promotion to the champion bracket that you've been offered a dozen times. Either way, as long as you pursue either option and stay 10 miles from Malcolm Fitz, aka Presto III, you won't find yourself suspended without pay. Again.
Isto Raita, assistant internal mediator of the GSO, offered.
Why should I do either of those things? Why should I listen to a pencil-pushing fop in a cheap suit?
Isto ground his teeth and surveyed the room. The red lights on the cameras winked off, and he knew no one was on the other side of the one-way glass. No one ever was when it came to Red Magus. At least, that's what his predecessor told him. Because, Miss Cross, your career as a superhero is at stake. The words were foul as they crossed his lips. He nearly retched. My career? You think I do this for the paycheck? Isto's arched eyebrow grazed his hairline. He cleared his throat and steadied his face. Then, Miss Cross, may I ask why do you do this work? Malika crossed her arms over her chest and slumped back into her chair. Why does that matter? Just another bubble for you to fill in on your questionnaire? Do you see a questionnaire anywhere? The last guy wasn't me, Miss Cross. Now answer the question. Why do you choose to be a hero? Isto pushed his briefcase and notepad aside, leaning his elbows onto the table and making eye contact with the devil woman seated across from him. Her cheeks flushed for a moment before she answered. This world needs heroes. Real heroes. Not walking advertisements, not poster boys, not models toting super weapons. Heroes. And what makes someone a hero? Someone who does the right thing, who sacrifices, who would gladly give their life to save the life of their worst enemy. And are you a hero, Miss Cross? Her eyes shifted, a steeled determination manifesting in her expression. Someday I will be. Sorely screamed. Isn't that so much better, Mr. Grimerson? If it weren't for the dagger-sized shards of glass pressing into the exposed bits of skin, if it weren't for the segmented cocoon of furniture, concrete, ice, and psychic energy holding him immobile, if it weren't for the fatigue of Remedy's booster, maybe he could have done something other than scream. More, Mr. Grimerson. Give me more. Glass dug into his forearms, his chest, his legs, all at random and alternating intervals. Sorely couldn't predict where the pain would come from first. So he did the only thing he could. Sorely screamed. On the heels of Malika Cross's answer came a deafening boom, rocking the facility and knocking it out of alignment with its atmospheric anchor. Uh-oh. Uh-oh? Uh-oh. The station listed and went dark.
Just as I have plunged you into darkness, so shall you sink the world.
Shade. That bastard. You okay, Pencil Pusher? Just fine, Miss Cross. Really doing great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is this? 7. Oh, that's not so... 10? Well, shit. As the station continued to plummet through space toward the atmosphere, Malika thumbed the communicator in her ear. This is Red Magus. Who's on station? A chorus of static and answers that only served to furrow her brow sounded in the earpiece. All right, Pencil Pusher, there are escape pods in the east wing. The gravity engines should hold for long enough for you to get there. I can buy you some time. And what are you going to do? Buy you time? Shade is a champion-level threat that has kept the GSO from maintaining any one of these facilities for more than a season. I know you've been solicited to advance to the champion bracket, but do you really think that you can best him? No, I don't. Then why? Because if I don't do something, no one else will. The station will crash into the heart of the Western Federation without anyone putting up a fight, because the heroes that are here can't function in low atmosphere. Not like I can. You'll die. Then I'll die a hero, won't I? Martyring yourself doesn't make you a hero, Miss Cross. Then what do I do? Let me help you. You? Me. How? You engage with Shade and stay alive. I'll be right out. Whatever you say, Pencil Pusher.
Is that all you've got, Red Magus? I was expecting more.
Every muscle burned under her skin. The effort to maintain the magic shield, her own little slice of atmosphere up, was starting to take a toll on her. Same with the beating she'd been taking for the last several minutes.
What? How?
The villain incredulous boomed, looking past her at the now stabilized GSO station. A streak of emerald energy slammed against the villain's shrouded form and caused him to howl in agony. Malika looked back toward the station, but stopped short when she saw Isto hovering next to her, bathed in viridian light.
How are you?
Isto loosened his tie and removed his blazer, letting the cheap garment fall. Isto's aura expanded and shifted, roaring into a solid shape.
Oh, Miss Cross. How doesn't apply to dragons. We do what we want.
Scene.
Fusroda!
Yeah. So, this is a classic reveal. The dude's a fucking dragon.
He's
The
a
dragon
dragon!
reveal.
Yes.
I like it. I mean, if anyone deserves it, it's Isto for being the dopest character
Yep.
here.
Isto is the best. I think that every single person that I have talked to about this and been like, hey, check this out, has been like, man, that Isto dude, like he's my favorite. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just lean into that then. And I've had grand ideas about Isto for a while, but I wasn't sure which way I wanted to go with it. So I'm glad that I went the way that I did. Yes, Draghi.
And what's really
pretty
funny to me
cool.
is I feel like a lawyer is a very appropriate occupation for a dragon, too.
I agree. I mean, like, a dragon has to know how to, like, litigate, like, the distribution of his hoard and,
Yeah.
like, manage his lair and keep all of his hatchlings safe, like, all that kind of stuff. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and, it's counting money.
Exactly. So, a lot... I had a lot of fun writing this episode because I wanted to show kind of like the beginnings of how Isto and the supplier started working together and kind of who they were before who they are. Mm-hmm. And to really make sure that it's apparent that they are both like old as dirt. And Malika Cross is the kind of person that will terrorize someone over a grudge for 3 generations if left unattended.
Wait a minute. Now, I missed something then, if we went back that far.
Right.
So what was the indicator that we went back far enough to where we would know how...
So the first Presto was Henry Fitz.
Gotcha.
The third
The
Presto,
third, yeah,
Presto
gotcha.
the third,
Oh,
was Malcolm
nice.
Fitz.
Gotcha. I did totally went over my head, dude.
It's all good.
Good writing. Good writing. I
Little
like that.
small little details.
Yeah,
Are the fun
yeah.
stuff. Make stories really
It's like
just
a
kind of
cool
like
Easter
pop
egg thing. You like look back and be like, "What? Hold on a second. What?
Wait.
Wait. Holy shit!"
out. Presto the third. What do you mean? So it's a lot of fun, and we've got probably 2 or 3 more episodes left in the season before the execution of the Great Heist.
Uh-oh.
And kind
Love
of
heists.
finally
Son of a
finally
bitch. I'm in.
seeing son of a bitch, I'm in. Seeing Sorley get sprung from his little cage there. So really excited to see how everybody reacts to the rest of it for the season coming up.
Yeah, this one was a lot of fun. We're getting tighter with those sound effects. This is good. This is good.
Yeah.
We're getting
was
to a
super
point
tight.
where like we'll be able to just do this.
Considering we're also dealing with like the lag of the internet.
Yeah.
Like it's
Right.
not even just a pure timing thing. It's like, okay, how do I time it with their specific audio and their specific audio?
Right.
Oh shit.
But it's feeling
Exactly.
pretty smooth right here.
Yeah,
Like, I
it
feel
is.
like
Great.
Our
Real smooth.
response time's not bad right now. So
Not at all.
yes. All right. Well, Joe DiProfio, thank you so much for another episode of the
you're very
Antihero
welcome.
Chronicles.
It was kick ass.
By the way, if any of you guys didn't know this, we are currently doing a thing called Soundbooth Theater Radio, where every weekday except for Wednesday, we have an SBTJ hanging out in our Discord channel, streaming our audiobooks live. And a lot of them are listening to older stuff that, hasn't been as popular lately, just getting into the deep cuts, showing
Absolutely.
you guys all the extra stuff that we've been doing and giving you guys an opportunity to check out stuff that maybe you wanted to before but never got a chance to and you weren't really willing to drop the $10-15 just yet. So yeah,
you
come
can
hang
spend
out with us.
$5 on it on Sunday.
Oh, right. That's true. That's true.
Very
But
true.
if you come to the Discord server, the Soundbooth Theater Live Discord server, and hang out with us from 10 in the morning 10 in the morning Eastern to about 2 p.m. with Joe DiProfio on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Currently, he's listening to Dungeon Lord.
Yep. Dungeon Lord the
and
First.
Today, he listens to Earth Force.
Yes.
So next week, he's going to be continuing both of those books. Fridays are my brother, and that's 10 to 6. So this is basically two sessions. Delvers in the morning, I believe he's doing, and then Deep Madness in the afternoon. And then on Monday, we have Jessica, who she is listening to... What is she listening to?
I think
Dracula.
one of the things that she's listening to is Dracula, which is really, really cool.
Yeah. And what was the first one? It was right, Secret of the Old Ones, another Blaze Corbin. So she should be wrapping that one up on Monday if she's not already done with it, because it was a very short book. But she's listening to those on Monday, 10 to 6 as well. So please, guys, come hang out with us. See if you can find an audiobook that you really dig and that you just get too impatient to wait for the next week to listen to. And, please bring friends. Bring anybody who you think would enjoy this content to our Discord server to hang out with Joe DiProfio, Bill Letson, Jessica Castro, the SBTJs on SBT Radio.
Yeah, it's a great time. We have a lot of fun. Like, we just kind of sit there and we talk about some of the books as they're going on. Like, I haven't listened to Earth Force before. Like Dungeon Lord is like a classic for me. Like, it brought me to the lit RPG genre and brought me to Soundbooth Theater in general. But Earth Force, like, we were sitting there, we were like, man, like this kid, like, he's just got these powers that he's not really talking about. Like, what's going on? I'm not going to actually spoil anything. Earth Force is super cool. It is a deep dive, so it's like, $13.99 right now. It's going to be $5 on Sunday.
You need to
Five.
get it.
Yeah, you do need to get it. You need to get it.
You said it's 13 what? $13.95?
It's
$13.99 right now.
You
I
can
mean,
almost
I don't
get
mind if
3
you buy it
books
now.
for that
Please
price
do.
on Sunday. You get
But on
You
3
can buy it
books.
on Sunday, for 2 weeks, it'll be $5.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll need to clean up on Sunday.
Oh, yes, please do. All right, guys. Well, Joe, thanks again. You've been awesome. And it is time for us to go on to our next segment, in which I will be reading from an SBT Legacy title that will be coming to the platform on Sunday. It's called Numb. It used to be called Hair of the Bitch, but Hair of the Bitch was too disturbing for a lot of people, so it was renamed to Numb. But I don't like that. I like the more disturbing title. And not only was the title a little too extreme, but the content was a little too extreme. And Jeff Menapace actually walked it back just a little bit and re-released it as Numb. We didn't walk it back. Hair of the Bitch is still just as hardcore as it was in the first place, and the version that you will get on our platform will be the same as it was back then, except it's been remastered. But this is one of my... Geez, man, when was this? 2014? Maybe that I did this one? 2015? So, my performance surprisingly still holds up. I was pleasantly surprised when I
That's always
revisited this
a moment,
audiobook,
isn't
and I
it?
was like, wow, I don't hate myself while I'm listening to this. This is crazy.
Because there's a bit of dread that comes with it. You're like, okay, I'm gonna listen to it. Okay, did I suck? That's all right.
Yeah.
That's okay. Nice. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I listened to it. So I'm proud to be putting it back on our platform instead of on Audible. So yeah, and that's gonna be actually $3 because it's pretty short. It's like not even 5 hours long. But I'm gonna go ahead and perform one of these scenes from that book for you guys right now, and then right after that we have author Jeff Menapace hanging out in the green room, doing things that you guys shouldn't see, honestly. But no one.
I can see it.
Don't judge him. It's fine. He'll come hang out with us. I'll talk to him, and that'll be right after this performance. So here goes. Numb by Jeff Menapace. I don't remember driving to her house, and I could not, for the life of me, give you even the most rudimentary directions on how to get there. With the potential of what lay ahead, such details had been demoted from steak to vegetables. In a matter of moments, we were on her porch, and I shit you not, she kicked open the front door. Her hand gripping mine, she pulled me up a flight of stairs and led me to a bedroom. I had not managed, nor had the time or opportunity, or a fucking care, to get a look at the rest of the interior of the house, but the room the two of us now occupied was huge. Its red and black decor suggested eroticism with a devilish taste of the unknown, a kind of danger that entices our better judgment, woos with control and power and all kinds of good wrong. I barely had a chance to take everything in before Angela was guiding me towards the foot of an enormous bed. She kissed me, sucked on my lower lip as she withdrew, and then shoved me backwards onto the bed where I happily flopped. She wasted no time in joining me, straddling my waist, undressing the both of us, pausing every now and again to fondle, tantalize, and tease, securing my state of arousal, as if it was going anywhere. This was brutal anticipation at its best. My entire body throbbed. We were nearly naked, me in boxers, she in a bra and panties I wanted to eat. We locked eyes, and then with a flick of her chin, she gestured above my head. I followed her gaze, turned and glanced up. A pair of leather wrist wraps dangled across from one another along the headboard. Handcuffs that didn't look like handcuffs. I hadn't noticed them when first flopping on the bed. They, too, had been demoted to vegetables. I turned back to Angela, and in a failed effort to control my eagerness, attempted to cut short her performance by reaching up and pulling her to me. My grip was instantly met by hers. She released hold on one of my wrists and wagged a playful finger in my face. "Bad boy, Mr. Court," that waving finger said. I smiled and let my arms go limp. She began fastening my wrists to the leather cuffs overhead. Finished, she slid off my body, tongue tracing my torso as she did, God bless her, and stood before me at the foot of the bed. She was still wearing her bra and panties, and I took in every inch of her. I guessed her height at about 5'7". Her weight I didn't care to guess. My eyes gifted me with far more than a scale ever could. Full and curved in all the right spots, taut and firm in all the right spots. Her hair was shoulder length and dark, almost black, the color accentuating her blue eyes. Lips full and red, her blue eyes accentuating them. Assuming I wasn't still asleep in my car, this was real. I was about to have Angela. "All good?" she asked, gesturing towards the cuffs that held my wrists overhead. I could only nod my confirmation. Words had no place here. She smiled her approval and turned her back to me. Slowly, she bent and removed her panties, revealing an ass you wanted to bite and kiss and slap and bite. An uncontrollable spasm of anticipation hit me, and I inadvertently tugged on the cuffs overhead, and my right wrist nearly popped free. Turns out the cuff was loose and not properly fastened. Her back still to me, Angela had not noticed my incident with the loose cuff, and I sure as hell wasn't about to let her notice lest she stop her performance to refasten the stupid thing. So I simply held my hand in a fixed position as though the cuff on my right was as tight as the one on my left. As long as I didn't do anything stupid like that again, I figured I'd be okay. Once her panties had been removed, Angela went to work on her bra, glancing over her shoulder at me as she did so. The look she cast me was something no surgeon could ever provide, a confidence I'd never seen in any woman, like she damn well knew she could make you come with just her eyes. The next time someone tells you it's big tits or a tight ass, scoff. Nothing is sexier than the elusive trait of true confidence. The bra was off. She turned slowly and faced me, her arms across her chest, a hand covering each breast. It seemed illogical that she would cover her breasts while everything else was exposed, and looking fucking amazing, FYI. But logic had no place in Angela's world, and while men usually accommodated the breasts in order to get further below, I found myself wanting nothing more than to just see her breasts, even if it meant I might never get to touch, taste, or enter her where I'd always presumed it counted. The power this woman had. She was turning out to be everything I'd been pining for. My state of arousal was now higher than it had ever been. I wanted her on the bed with me. Nothing else mattered. Nothing else existed. The strange room was my whole world, and Angela and I were the only two people alive. Or so I thought. Something caught my attention to the right of me. About 15 feet from the bed, a pair of long, red drapes hung and cloaked what I assumed was some kind of panoramic window. What made these drapes catch my attention at a time when very little else could catch my attention was that I was sure I saw something move behind them. Angela, reading my face, turned and joined me in staring at the drapes, hands still covering her breasts. "Now," she said. I looked at her, and then immediately back at the drapes, as a man stepped out from behind them. At least I think it was a man. Hell, it had to be. He was huge. The rest of his appearance was far too bizarre to initially comprehend. He donned a full-body getup, tight to the skin and all black, like something a villain in a comic book might wear. His face was covered by a mask that looked to be fashioned out of the same tight-fitting black material as his bodysuit. There were holes for the eyes, nose, and mouth, but they were covered in circles of black mesh. Nothing identifiable to the onlooker. Vision, air, and a voice for the one wearing the mask. I found myself almost laughing at the flagrant absurdity of it all. I wanted Angela to take me to places as yet untapped. But this? Chuckling, I said, "What the f—" but stopped when I saw this freak pull an aluminum bat out from behind his leg. Hardly chuckling now, "What the fuck?" As if my words were a starting pistol, the freak let out a deafening battle cry and rocketed towards the bed, bat cocked and ready. I quickly rolled to the left, my right wrist that hadn't been properly fastened to the cuff breaking free, allowing me out of harm's way. Thank God I never mentioned the fucking thing. The bat clanged off the headboard a mere 2 inches from my head. I rolled off the bed completely and began frantically working on the remaining cuff that held my left wrist. The cuff was held on by the same mechanism you might attach a leather belt, and the pulling I'd just done caused a good deal of tension to accumulate, tightening the bond. I needed to loosen the slack. To my right, the freak was regrouping, cautiously circling the bed, securing his grip on the bat. I could hear him breathing, excited. I backed up further against the wall and felt my right hand graze something. I glanced down at a sizable porcelain lamp on a nightstand. He finished circling the bed. We now faced each other, maybe 8 feet apart, the bat swaying over his shoulder as though waiting for a pitch. Another battle cry and another charge. He vaulted forward, bat cocked. I spun, snatched the lamp by its neck, spun back and whipped it into his oncoming face. It shattered on impact, knocking him backwards, out cold. Ignoring all of my mother's childhood advice, I decided to use my teeth as a tool, spinning back towards the bed and chomping down onto the leather strap that held my wrist captive, hoping to loosen the slack. It worked, and I now had my left hand back. Good thing, too. The freak was awake and on his feet. He dropped the bat after I cracked him with the lamp, and for some reason did not attempt to grab it again. There was a good chance he was still on Queer Street from the lamp and wasn't thinking properly, and to be honest, I didn't give a shit. The fact that he was no longer wielding the thing gave me hope. The freak dove at my waist, shooting both of us backwards, crashing against the wall. Although the impact momentarily took my breath, I was happy the wall was there. It kept me upright and prevented me from landing on my back with his big ass on top. With his shoulder driving into my stomach, I felt him reach down to grab the back of my leg so that he could scoop me up and slam me. Fuck that. I immediately took both hands and pushed down onto the back of his head until it was at my knees, preventing him from getting my leverage. I then snaked one of my legs free and began hammering the bottom of my fist onto the back of his head like a jackhammer. After about 5 or 6 of those, he gave up trying to slam me and covered up. I snaked my other leg free, clamped both hands around his neck, and drove my knee up into his face with everything I had. It sounded like a football being punted. He dropped instantly. I slumped back against the wall. My legs, my lungs burned. My body shook. I was certain I was going to puke. And then I felt a frantic pull on one of my ankles. I looked down and actually gasped, "Are you fucking kidding me?" The tough fucker was now clamped onto my shin. His fingers groped and clawed my flesh as he tried to climb to his feet. I spotted the discarded bat, picked it up, and raised it overhead. Although he never looked up, I now suspect the freak realized what was about to happen. He stopped his futile struggle at my legs and seemed to brace himself for the inevitable. I could have stopped after the first blow. He went limp immediately. But I didn't. In retrospect, I can think of many reasons, some reasonable, if not damn well justifiable, as to why I didn't. But who cares, right? I didn't. Over and over again, I brought the bat down onto the freak's masked skull, deforming it with each sickening wallop. It was my breath, or lack thereof, that finally stopped me. Realization as to what I'd done soon began filtering into my pool of rage, and I instantly flung the bat into the corner where it landed with a definitive clang. I looked down at the now lifeless mass at my feet. His body was still moving, but it was involuntary. Just a convulsive twitch or two until he was officially a corpse. A corpse. He was dead. The guy was fucking dead. And I had killed him. I had killed somebody. And that's it. And here's Mr. Jeff Menapace to talk about it. How are you doing, sir?
I would first like to say, first of all, I'd like to apologize for my voice. I am getting over a cold. But I would like to say that Jeff, as always, is the man. You rocked it, brother. You rocked it.
Thank you, sir. Hey, you rocked it with the writing. Hey, you know what? That's the thing that I like about making relationships with authors is when I find authors whose writing style like just clicks with me instantly like this. I mean, like that performance wasn't too much different than what's on the recording because it just translates in my head.
No,
like that,
I don't. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah.
It's a rare thing, but it's great when it happens.
It really is. It really is. So, I mean, Jeff, how many books have we done together now?
Oh, let's see. We did the wildlife books. We did Numb, which is what you just did. We did Numb one
Cliche.
The spin-offs 1, 2, and 3. I
And
feel like
then
we did one more. What
the
am I
the
missing?
the short stories.
Yeah.
The short story anthology. What is it called? Warped.
Did we do? Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
we did Warped. Yes.
Yep. And
Yes.
that was maybe my favorite project to do
Yeah.
because there
Well,
were
you know why?
so
Because
many great stories.
you got to do so many different characters. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And they all had their own different feel. It was very thrilling to get through those. And we're getting into like doing more short stories now. And being able to distribute them like on our website is so much better than putting them on Audible where they're not going to be listened to, right?
Well,
So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of
well,
those. We have
I'll tell you, man, you rocked it. I mean, I know it's already out there, but you rocked it. And I will say this, I don't know who's listening, but I personally, as someone who does not like to listen or read their own work, I don't like to. Your work, you and Annie with Wildlife 2, you guys did such an amazing job. Oh, I listened to that like when I'm lounging around. I listened to that. Oh my God, you guys were so awesome in that. It really was.
and you have a Wildlife 3 in the works, don't you?
I do, but you know what? Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Wildlife 3. And I texted Annie and I told her about that. She said, "Oh my gosh," like she was all like freaked out. Cuz I don't think she likes doing that stuff. Um, but I told her, I said, you were so good as Darla. I said, Darla's going to be 18 in this one. I said, you think you can handle it? She was, oh my God. But yeah, my goal with that one is to be very pretentious in my, uh, not in the products, I hope, but in my pursuit and make it like an Eliza Doolittle kind of thing.
Eliza
I
Doolittle.
want Darla to become, I want a therapist to find Darla because
Mm.
she's the only one left and turn her into not a proper young
Proper
lady.
lady.
Yes, exactly. Not yeah, but like at least someone who could like function in society. You know what I'm saying? Like, so my goal is that, but at the same time, my goal is also to have the doctor be very sinister in her because she wants to then take her after teaching her how to be proper, take her back to the swamp and see if what wins. This what does the swamp win or does her schooling win? You
So
know,
wait, are you saying that Darla's like gonna almost become sort of the anti-hero of the story?
I can't say that.
Okay. Oh my god. Dude, okay, when you made Wildlife 2, first of all, I was like, what the fuck? How do you make a sequel out of Wildlife? Cuz everyone gets, the way that a Wildlife ends, it's like what's left? But
You
apparently
know
there was
what?
something left. So that like I couldn't believe how well you continued that story. So I'm not going to doubt you this time. Wildlife 3, you've already given me cool hints that I'm already excited about it.
It's funny. I don't know. I mean, like I still don't know how Wildlife 3. I mean, like everything I'm saying right now could be complete and utter horseshit. It could end up being bullshit, I should say, because I don't know.
Finer
When I
grain.
write, a lot of times I change my mind, but I always, always, always had an idea of Darla. Everyone loved the Darla character from book 2. Um, so I always had an idea of the Darla character being grown up. But of course, after what happened with book 2, I don't want to give spoilers for those who haven't read it. You know, who's going to take care of Darla? Well, I thought about what if someone, I actually got this idea from Halloween, like the Halloween films, like a Dr. Loomis who took an obsession with her and like wanted to make her into like an Eliza Doolittle, almost like a Halloween My Fair Lady kind of thing. Um, Someone who wanted to make her from this feral, I mean, she was pretty much feral, um, into a young woman. And then once she was there, the ultimate test of her theory was to then take her back to the swamp
Yeah.
and see, like, bring her back to the people and see how she reacts.
I'm looking forward
And
to that, dude. That just sounds like such a great way to get her back going.
but I want to bring back a lot of characters. You know, we'll see.
Yeah.
It's still in its infancy stage. You know, so we'll see.
Great.
It's not the number one book I'm working on right now. I'm working on another right now. So, you know.
So Hair of the Bitch, Numb, that's going to be re-releasing on our platform on our birthday, Halloween. Can you tell us a little bit more about where that book came from?
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you something actually very interesting. That was the first novel I ever wrote. I um I always I always wanted, I'm sorry, this is my buddy Samson. He's,
No apologies
he's
necessary. The more the
okay.
merrier.
He's my boy. Um he I always wanted to write for a living, but just didn't think it was possible. I thought, you know, I had low self-esteem. I thought writers were like, you know, guys who were, you know, you had to be a King or a Patterson or whatever. You couldn't make a living otherwise. So, whatever. But I still wrote because I enjoyed it. I've been writing since I was a kid. I just enjoyed it because I wrote because I enjoyed it. And so I started writing this one book because they said, write what you about what you know. Well, for a long time, I worked like 50 jobs at once. And one of them, I was a massage therapist. I actually went to school and was trained as a massage therapist. And let me tell you, as a massage therapist, you get a lot of fucking stories. And so I thought, what about a massage therapist who was obsessed with one of his clients? And trust me, as a massage therapist, you get clients who are both insane, weird, whatever, and sorry, smoking hot. And so yeah, there are times when like you see their name in the book, like, oh, so and so's coming in today. You're like, oh, hell yeah, that's awesome. So I thought, what about someone who had a client, you know, and then they kind of took it too far, but then it turned out that the client was even more fucked up than they were. And the person at the time, I was struggling at the time with a lot of depression, anxiety, drinking too much, and this client, and this is true, I was at the time, and I thought, um wouldn't it be perfect if someone like this, like a vulture or whatever, would come in and see that and exploit it, you know, like take advantage. And so I came up with this idea of this smoking hot woman coming in as one of my clients, and basically this succubus that would you know, seduce this guy into being with him and then blackmailing him into being into this underground industry that was so perverse. I mean, like, that's why I said to you, Jeff, earlier today, one thing I want to write about, and not just this, but about the cliche stories that follow it, the sequels. One of the taglines I wanted to write was fuck Squid Games, fucking, cliche or something along those lines. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, because the Squid Games were, I mean, as great as the show was, but I think people would have more fun with the cliche shows because they're all based on something we could all relate to, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, the horror, the horror cliches theme is so hilarious.
Yeah.
The campground slasher one was definitely my favorite.
That's
Uh,
everyone's favorite. I know.
it's so good. And just having it's Calvin, right? Calvin is the main character in
Yeah.
Cliche. Yeah, yeah. Having Calvin in that situation is just the best because
Yeah.
he's good at reacting on the fly, but he's also just kind of clueless a lot of the time.
Yes.
And so like to have him in this situation where he actually kind of does understand what's going on, it's just so much fun. So you guys can also find that on Audible. Annie and I did a production of that one, and it's actually the first 3 episodes of it.
Yeah.
But Jeff and I have been kind of talking about maybe revisiting it at some point. So if you guys liked this, or when
I
when
get, Jeff.
Yeah.
I get a lot of fan mail asking me when's 4 and 5 and so on going to come out, and so I mean that's worth visiting. It's worth visiting, man.
hell yeah.
But I will say this: of, I don't know, let's say 100 fan mails I've gotten, 95% said they liked the second episode the best about the slasher films.
Yeah.
And that's the one you liked.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, remember guys, Numb, which is the first part of this series here, is going to be re-releasing on our platform. It's going to be $3 for the Halloween sale. It's going to go back up to $5 after the 2 weeks. But it'll be there to stay. We're going to try and get it published everywhere after that. So it's not just on Audible. And yeah, so that's our Jeff Menapace segment. Jeff, do you have anything else that you want to pimp out right now? Like, what's the last thing that you wrote? Or
you're gonna pimp stuff out. Yeah. I mean, I for those of you who have ever followed me, I just released not too long ago a spinoff of my Bad Games series. And again, I apologize for my voice. I am sick. I'm fighting it right now. I just released a spinoff of my Bad Games series called Caleb. It's about the youngest son in the very first. It's kind of cool if you think about it. In the very first Bad Games book, he was 4, and that was back in 2013. Well, now, and then I took, liberties with the timelines. Now he's 25. Thank you, whoever did that.
We don't know who does that.
yeah, it's just magic.
It just
Happens. We don't know.
Wow, thank you. It's fantastic. Yeah, that's Caleb, and this is a total spinoff. This is the son from the first one. He's 4, and now he's an assassin for hire. But he's kind of like a Dexter, even though I've never seen the show. I know. I should see it.
It's a good one.
But he basically kills bad people, but he punishes them. And the thing that makes him a little different is that he still has these weird urges as a serial killer, but they're entwined with his sexuality because he killed a person. He killed people in books 4 and 5 when he was going through puberty. So his sex and violence is entwined with him. So he he kills people, but he also has a therapist that he is in a understanding with. So every time he kills someone, he goes and sees his therapist and has sex with them to get out the fantasy. So it's like
That's a good therapist.
Every time he kills someone, he gets a sexual urge. Every time he gets a sexual urge, he wants to kill.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That
it's definitely a
sounds
little different in
hardcore.
that regard.
And your narrator for that one was
Gary Tiedemann.
Gary Tiedemann. Yeah, because he did Bad
Oh,
Games.
yeah. I just did a
Yeah.
book with him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a
Gary's
good
awesome,
narrator
yeah.
for sure. So, yeah. Well, guys, you heard it from Jeff. Go pick up Caleb. Go pick up whatever else that you can find on Audible from Jeff Menapace, because all of it's
Wow,
good.
you guys can clap really fast. I can't even see your arms moving.
Yeah.
Again, we don't know where they are.
Yeah, it's just, we're
We're not paying that drummer to do that.
But anyway, guys, go check out Jeff Menapace's stuff on Audible, on Amazon. He's got a ton of books, and it's all incredibly creepy
What?
and
Well,
fucked
they're
up.
doing anything?
Yeah, we're pros. So, Jeff, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. You go get
Thank you.
some rest, my friend. That's
Yeah.
that voice up for you. I mean, you got a trip coming up this weekend, so you want to be.
Yeah, my wife and
We'll be
I,
helping
we're
you out.
celebrating 7 years married.
Wow, congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you. And we're going to Sleepy Hollow in upstate New York.
Nice.
Yeah.
For a
Inhale some
Halloween-
steam. It'll help with your scratchy throat.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Definitely do that. All right, Jeff. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you again sometime soon.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Take care.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Right on. Jeff is such a great guy.
Fucking awesome.
I always have a fun time narrating his stuff because it's just out there and twisted. That's my kind of fiction, man. If it's screwed
That
up,
Caleb
I
book
wanna
sounds
hear
great.
Oh, yeah.
Like, really twisted and kind of
it. Little
you're in
bit,
for a ride.
little bit envious there, Gary Tiedemann. You son of a bitch.
You bastard. I don't mean that. I literally finished up a book with him in it today.
Nice.
Did the credits for it.
What was it?
I think it's called How to Mars. It's not out yet, but it will be out soon.
Oh,
For a
cool.
podium, actually.
Is it a sci-fi?
Yes. It is a sci-fi.
Okay. I hope so. Okay, so we
like-
are gonna do our poll now. Let's see, what time is it? Oh, we're an hour in. So
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing Stone Cold Bastards today. I really love that book, but we're like running out of time. So we should probably get to some Demon Hunter action. Now look at this cover.
Fantastic.
Look at that. Look at that little fortunate or unfortunate / fortunate wardrobe malfunction.
Is she
there.
wielding some sort of powerful staff?
Yeah, it looks like it. A powerful staff. She's got rips going on. She
She has got some rips.
She's got
She's
some
been in a
rips.
battle.
And yeah, very short skirt. I mean, like, is that even a skirt?
And her cloak has been ripped. That's terrible. Like, that's not going to protect her bottom half from the cold and the elements.
No, very cruel illustrator to make her so unprotected when she's so clearly in danger. But it's cool.
I don't think I would fight this person. I feel like all the elements she has there, she would murder me within seconds.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what makes her hot.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I do like a murderous girl.
All right. So, low key,
My
I did
whiskey
forward
like
this.
I like my women.
I
Trying to
did forward
kill
this
me.
to you, did I not, Gary?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, cool. So let's find out what this is. So this is an SBT original poll, which means we're gonna narrate this one straight. It is the SBT classic, right? That it was a classic poll, right? Not a troll poll.
I think so.
Yeah,
It's not a troll poll.
So we're gonna play this
This
one
is
straight.
the. And now, is this the one that? I'm sorry now.
This is not the one with the low key.
Yeah, I have it.
All right, so let's see what our characters are. So for you guys who don't know, when we do requests from our classic poll, we play it straight. When we do a
Yep.
request from the troll poll, we try to tear it up as much as possible and make it ridiculous. So,
Oh, yeah.
here we are going to do our best to make this an enthralling performance. So, setting for the scene, walking home from the tavern in a seedy section of the town when the MC hears the panicked voice of a woman in distress. Michael, main character, 18, determined, strong-willed, yet still uncertain of so many things in his future. Sounds like the classic anime protagonist, does it not? Are you good at anime voices?
I can give it a go, yeah?
Gary, you can be our MC.
Cool.
Tess, love interest, 18. Okay. Michael's best friend and one of the people he cherishes most. She's bubbly, self-assured, yet also spontaneous. Not an airhead, but dances to her own beat. Okay, I can handle that. Okay, we got 2 chicks.
Yeah,
chicks
you
at-
should.
MC
take
gets
those
2
ladies.
chicks at the same time. This is pretty cool. Gwen, Michael's sister. Oh, wait, maybe not. Just one chick, and then the other chick's just kind of hanging out. Michael's sister, firebrand, confident, competitive, and knows what she wants and doesn't hesitate to take it. Has a short fuse, but an even shorter cooldown. Okay, these are also anime like archetypes, right? Like, what do they call these ones? Is Gwen a tsundere?
Oh
what they call
God, I don't know. God, I haven't heard that in such a long time.
I don't remember. Okay, but they do sound like anime archetypes, which doesn't surprise me. Look at this thing. Look at this.
I mean, yeah.
Damn awesome cover by
Even
Lowe.
the size of that hair, it's very
size of the
improbable.
hair. Dude, Lowe Keye. What an awesome author name. By the
That's
way.
great.
Did someone just make a basketball sound?
Yeah, it's just a guy out there playing some ball.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into
Okay.
this.
As we cut through Wren Street again, a voice startled me. It was a woman, but the surrounding buildings muffled what she said, though the distressed tone was all too clear. My melancholy caught in my heart, and was swiftly smothered by concern. I halted in the middle of the street, causing the others to stop walking as well. "Hang on!" I raised a hand. "You guys hear that?"
Yeah,
Gwen nodded.
but I can't tell where it came from.
I paused and listened, trying to pinpoint the location. The mostly empty street and spacing between buildings meant that noise echoed well and made it a challenge. After a few seconds, she shouted again, but it cut off, which didn't matter since I was almost certain of the direction. "Follow me," I said, and took off, sprinting down Wren Street. I didn't stop until a few hundred feet later as I came upon a side street. In the dark alley to my left were 4 shadowed figures, 3 male and 1 woman. So, she's the one who was shouting, and I see why. The men were younger but rough, life obviously having torn them down. They wore soiled clothes over cracked leather jerkins and stained gambesons. I think I pronounced that right.
I think so.
Bunch of would-be bandits out for a bit of sport. My first instinct was to rush in, but 3 against 1 wasn't so much a fight as much as an invitation to instigate my own mugging. But I couldn't stand back and do nothing. Gwen and Tess raced through the street behind me, sending dust cascading around them in their wake. They slowed up as they reached me and evened our numbers. 3 against 3 is a much better prospect than taking them myself.
What's the plan?
Gwen asked, her eyes narrowing in disgust. "Not just standing here like assholes. We need to stop them." I stepped forward and shouted, "Hey!" All 3 thugs jerked at my voice, and they stopped inching closer to the woman, turning as I entered the darkened alley. As my eyes adjusted, I got a better look at them. The men were even worse looking up close. Blackened or missing teeth and scraggly wisps of beards combined with an eye-watering stench of body odor. On the other side was the woman, who was the complete opposite of the filthy men. She was pretty, not gorgeous or a stunning beauty, but she had a soft set to her face and a delicate chin. Her eyes were a startling green, the same shade as her dress, and her brown hair was done up atop her head. She clutched several shopping bags in her trembling hands. Took a shortcut and it backfired. Let's see if we can help a bit. One lanky man with long hair sneered at us.
Hold on. Where? Fuck.
Sorry.
There it is. Okay, I'll get the other extras since you're narrating.
Yeah.
Get lost, kids!
I shook my head. "I think we'll stay. Letting you 3 accost this woman is something I can't let stand." He grimaced.
Go play hero somewhere else. Get in our way and you get hurt. I don't want that on my conscience.
Gwen scoffed at him and gestured to the woman as she walked up behind me.
Huh! Yet you'll have whatever you were about to do to her on your... But yet you'll have whatever you were about to do to her on yours. Sorry, but we're not going anywhere.
The man cursed and spat.
You asked for it.
He shuffled toward me and lunged. A dagger I hadn't seen flashed in front of my vision. I stepped toward him and brought my hand up to block his arm, but the edge of the blade caught on my forearm and split a vicious gash across my flesh as I blocked his stab. A burning agony crawled up my skin, and the words of Kieran echoed in my head, even as I bit back a hiss. First rule of knife defense, you're going to get cut. Though I prepared for it and swallowed a curse as adrenaline deadened the pain, I shifted and stepped back as the man slashed at me once more.
Michael!
Gwen shouted from behind me.
Take my knife and buy me a few seconds!
I glanced back to where Tess and Gwen were. Gwen had her small blade in hand and tossed it to me as Tess tried to go around her. With a step, I snagged the knife and thrust my hand out as Tess tried to join the fight. Stay back, Tess!
I can help!
I shook my head as the thugs inched closer to us. As my eyes swept across our impromptu battlefield, I reaffirmed my decision. Excuse me. The alley was 10 feet wide at maximum, hardly enough for a one-on-one duel, let alone the group we were up against. If we all fought together, we'd be more dangerous to ourselves than the enemies. It's not about that. This alley is too narrow and I can't fight if I'm worried about hitting you. After that, I couldn't think about her or Gwen anymore as two of the men rushed me. The man with the knife attacked first. He brought his blade down in an overhead slash. I caught his hand at the wrist once more, but this time I could retaliate. I aimed for the outside of his knee and slammed Gwen's knife to the hilt in the meat of his thigh. The thug yelled in pain and instinctively tensed up and tried to adjust his balance as his leg wavered. Before I could pull the knife out or take him down, the other two thugs attacked. A burly man with thick curly hair reared back to swing a wide haymaker down at me. I threw myself into a roll, losing my grip on the knife as I hit the ground and came back up, settling back into my fighting stance.
Michael, get clear!
Gwen shouted. If only it was that simple. When I'd rolled, I'd gone deeper into the alley, trying to put myself between the thugs and the woman. There was no way for me to move without backing up or going through the men. A fact that Gwen noticed as soon as she spoke and cursed, raising her hand. I didn't have time to worry about her as she worked her magic, since I was still very much in the fight. The curly-haired man rushed me while the man I'd stabbed tried to wrench the knife from his thigh. Curly set up for another heavy punch, but he was sloppy, disjointed. It was clear from his footwork that he didn't know how to fight. As he threw his punch, I shuffled toward his arcing fist and slid my arm around his bicep, stopping his attack before it could reach me. He grunted as he instinctively locked up, his face twisting into rage as he realized he couldn't get away. After that split-second understanding, I shifted, bringing my shoulder down, taking his entire torso with me. When his face was within range, I grabbed the back of his head with my offhand and rammed my knee straight into his nose. Blood burst like a dam and poured out to stain his lips and drip down his chin. He moaned, his eyes glazing over with pain as he slumped to the ground, clutching his ruined face. With him down, I glanced back at the terrified woman, who cowered against the wall out of harm's way. The only one left standing was the leader of this band of thugs, but that wouldn't last long. In the handful of seconds it had taken me to dispatch the curly-haired man, Gwen stepped forward, her hands raised. 3 savage gashes crossed each palm, and even as they split open her skin, a cascade of crimson mana dispersed around the alley. By sheer force of will alone, not a single speck even got close to me. It scattered to the ground and condensed into several thick, gelatinous puddles at the feet of the thugs. In the blink of an eye, writhing, blood-red tentacles rose along the ground, each of them as thin as a whip and twice as fast. Several sharp cracks broke the fragile tension in the air as they lashed out and wrapped around the men. In a second, she had their arms and legs bound tight, stopping them instantly. A few strands even wrapped around their mouths to keep them from speaking. As soon as Gwen restrained them, I sighed and stepped back, letting all the adrenaline rush out of me as I turned around to the woman who cowered at the back of the alley. You all right? I asked. She shook her head. her wide, panicked green eyes calming as she stared at the men who tried to assault her, now helpless prey before my sister. The woman stood and took a few deep breaths to calm herself. After a few moments, she nodded.
I am now. Thank you.
She said.
All of you.
Sorry. She said, looking from me to Tess and then to Gwen. We walked to the alleyway entrance, sidestepping the criminals on the ground as I went to stand by Gwen and Tess. Gwen stood strong, with only the barest hint of pallor to her face, but even as I stared, it faded. In the back of my head, I knew how amazing my sister was, but before that moment, all I'd ever seen of her magic was a few parlor tricks of her abusing her power for the sake of convenience. I'd never actually seen her use it in a fight before, and at that moment, I knew she deserved her nickname. End.
End scene. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's a cool story.
Yeah, a nice little action scene. Very anime.
I like it.
Like it's just anime as fuck.
Yeah, man.
You know,
awesome.
it's really funny how you can see that even though there's like anime is such a it's such a visual medium.
Yeah.
And it's such an audible medium too, right? Like when you hear their voices, when you hear voice acting, you know if it's an anime or not.
Oh, straight away.
100%.
Yeah.
Right? So somehow that's able to translate into text, and it's still obvious. And I honestly don't know how to tell you what it is. I don't know what
have
the
a
actual
theory.
attributes are.
Like I think one of the reasons you can tell it's anime, especially if it's in English, is because you have to match the lip flaps so it doesn't look wonky, which means you have to sometimes have a weird cadence when you speak. And that's been going on for decades at this point. So that kind of like, I don't like, you would normally say like, I don't know what you think you're doing, but you're going to stop here. Whereas in anime, it might be, I don't know what you think you're doing, but you're going to stop here. Like it's kind of off. Not bad acting, but like they had no choice. They had to do it to match the kind of lip flaps.
Yeah.
And like I've done a few anime like as extras and stuff, and like you'll do your line, and then the engineer is like hopping off the keyboard, going all these hotkeys to try and see if they can put it into the time. And if it doesn't fit, they're like, you gotta retake that line. So I think that's kind of why there's like a style, because you have to match these lip flaps.
Yeah. It's dude, I still want to do that. I know that dubbing jobs for voice actors don't pay great, but I don't care. I just want to like
It's
play.
fun. Like I've done it remote and I've done it in studio, and it's like it's just fun being in the studio. Like it's fucking kick ass.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Because you're watching a screen, and then the scene is here, and on the same screen your lines are here, and you have to be like, okay, fuck. And it goes beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Oh no, sorry. What are you doing? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I would love to do that sometime. Okay, well, I think it's time for our last segment, which is Gary's Games. Thankfully, Gary is here, so we don't have to do the complex equation to get games out. We just have them, so
we were going to play Freeze, but that really does depend on having at least 3 people. And I think maybe Joe's going to join us, but maybe we can just do like ad-libbed conversations, which is similar to what Freeze is, but we would need like, who are we? What are we talking about? And maybe where are we? So I'm going to look up a few of those, and if there's some suggestions from the audience, I will.
We definitely need suggestions from the audience. We need to start telling people from the beginning of the show, hey, you guys need to start coming up with suggestions so that we have them ready.
Yeah, maybe we need to come up with because there's a few of the games we do that really work well, that we enjoy, and that seems to be funny for the audience as well. We could probably get them on a schedule and just be like, we're going to play this one this night, this one this night.
Yeah.
And get a shit ton of stuff. So let me see. This is a random town generator. Let me see what this is. Suggest.
Gosh,
write me some towns. Oh my god. Never
random
mind.
Content generators.
I think it's like a fantasy RPG thing, so it's just like all these syllables. Minacha. Random subject generator.
Games. So wait, do we have a name for this? We're doing.
This was going to be Freeze, but since we only have the 2 of us, we can't do Freeze. freeze requires like at least 2 people.
Okay. And this is conversations instead. Okay, we got a subject, Batman. Batman,
okay.
a subject.
And who might talk about Batman like? Nice.
Who might talk about?
Let's
I guess
be-
the Joker would talk about Batman.
Okay.
Commissioner Gordon would talk about.
You be the Joker,
Okay.
and I'll be. Like you could be Joker's on a tea break,
Okay.
and I just happen to be in the same room as Joker, but I'm not in like an important part of the mob. But maybe the Joker's feeling a bit pissed off that
Okay.
Batman is just like is getting under his skin.
Okay.
It's like I'll walk into him and be like, "Oh, hey boss, I can go. You know,
No, it's fine.
I can sit.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Take a load off.
Oh, thanks, boss. You know, you're not so scary as the guys say."
Of course not. You know, you have to put on a front, right? To keep people...
Oh,
With
yeah?
Yeah.
Why would you be putting on a front, boss? Is something bothering you?
Well, sometimes I get upset, you know, and I can't let that affect the morale around here, now can I?
Oh, no. Well, I mean, you can do whatever you want, boss.
Yeah, that's right. I
Yeah.
do whatever I want.
And that's
Yeah.
why I can stay calm so easily.
Yep. You super calm, boss. You're calm all the time, but you're the calmest guy I know.
So what are you doing here?
Well, I was on a mission with the guys. I was on a mission. I was kind of observing from outside to tell them if Batman.
Batman?
Oh, I was trying to tell the guys if he was around, and yeah, I missed him, and he didn't kill anybody, but yeah, like 10 of the guys are missing now.
Would you bring up Batman
I
in the break room
sorry, boss.
while I'm having my tea?
Oh, yeah, sorry, boss. I didn't know you was having your tea. I mean, you asked what I was doing, and I ain't gonna lie to you, boss.
Okay, all right. All right. Batman,
Yeah,
you've already ruined my break.
sorry,
Might
boss.
as well tell me what we need to know about Batman today.
Well, you know, Lenny and well, all of Lenny's team pretty much because they was on duty.
Hmm?
Yeah, Lenny don't have a team no more. Bats they don't got no working legs anymore. Cause I think he got a thing that wraps around your legs and he pulls you up and yeah, they're all out of the sockets.
Well, I'm glad it was Lenny and Lenny's team.
Oh, cause I mean Ricky's
No,
team was
he was
there
big.
too.
He was bait.
Yeah, but was
It's all good.
okay.
Now we
that's
know
good.
where Batman is. So,
Okay.
go on after him.
Right now? Okay, I'll go right now. I'll go get Batman myself. Okay. See you later, boss.
Yeah, I think you stand a chance, right?
Okay.
Cool.
So,
So we have the Tick as one of them and Arthur.
the Tick and Arthur. Okay. So I feel like I wasn't sure if I was following the rules.
This is like,
We're just-
I mean, yeah, a lot of the time improv is like, it has to be funny. And yes, it's great when it is funny. But like, I think that would be a funny scene or a good scene, like if the Joker's having his fucking tea. It's like, what tea is the Joker drinking? Maybe he has green tea because he's like on edge.
Right.
But he has to be the Joker. Or he might just be in there going, fucking hey, Batman. I mean, I just want to get some shit done. And oh, who's this peon coming in to bother me? Hello, I'm the Joker.
Okay. So, all right. So, what is? We got Arthur and we got the Tick.
Okay,
Do you want to be the Tick or do you want to be Arthur?
either or. Let's
You be the
roll
Tick.
a.
You be
let's
the
roll a
Tick. I'll be
D24.
Arthur.
I'll be the Tick.
Yeah. And so, what's the situation?
They're going to the swimming pool for the first time together, or something else. I just thought it was funny for them to be like, we're gonna swim today. We're gonna do some laps of the swimming pool.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Hello, Arthur. Have you got your bathing suit?
Hey, Tick. Yeah, got my bathing suit, but I think that the bathroom here is a little too dirty. I don't even really want to change in there. I can't change in front of all these people. I still have my suit on.
I laugh in the face of dirt, Arthur. Spoon! Now I'm running into the bathroom to clean the dirt for you, Arthur. Come in here with me. You'll see. There's nothing to fear from dirt.
Tick, you don't have to. Oh,
You're worried about swimming in your suit, Arthur. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
well, there's like a little tear right here, right in the arm.
A little tear, Arthur? I have a sewing kit.
Can you sew? Do you have?
I'm sewing it right now, Arthur. You can't see because I'm a
Wow,
hero.
I didn't realize that your fingers were so dexterous, Tick.
Yes, they are. That's what a hero has, dexterous fingies.
Wow. Well, I hope that. Do you think it's watertight now? What kind
Probably
of glue
not,
do you use?
but water on the skin feels good, Arthur. Feels really good.
Okay. Well, I wonder how my wings are gonna work in the water.
They're gonna work beautifully, Arthur. Have you seen those wings in the air? Air is like water, isn't it? I've never been in water before, Arthur.
It's a little bit different, but I think it'll help my butterfly stroke.
Was that a joke, Arthur? I thought you were a moth.
Yeah. I'm a moth, but butterflies.
Ah! I
Yeah,
get the
right,
joke, Arthur!
right.
A similar
Okay,
insect with
butterflies,
wings!
yeah. All right, I'm gonna
And
try.
it's also a swimming stroke.
I'm gonna try, Tick. All right, kids. Can you move real quick? I'm gonna try and do a dive.
Spoon!
Woo! Tick.
Arthur, your wings are not working as I thought they would.
I'm singing.
Don't worry, Arthur, I shall save you.
That was great.
I love that show,
I
man.
like playing superheroes. This is great. Yeah, dude, Tick was like probably my favorite when I was a kid. Like out of all the Saturday morning cartoons, Tick was the one. Oh yeah. What a fucking theme song. Right?
It was so odd. Just really weird. And he never took his suit off. As I
No,
always thought,
never.
like, is that his
Neither of them.
skin? Like, is that his superhero? Did he mutate?
Nothing explained. Just love it. Just
I
love
always
it.
like
Bet-
Deflator Mouse as well because when you hear his voice, like that's like Cam Clark was in everything in the 80s and that kind of carried over. And then I played Metal Gear Solid and I was like, hold on a second. Is that Liquid Snake? Oh my god. Deflator Mouse is Leonardo and Liquid Snake.
Really?
Yeah, I think if you hear back, it's just like, he has that real distinct voice that when he was like, hello, brother, as Liquid, it was just like, oh god, I know that from somewhere.
Wow. That's
Earthworm
also.
Jim was amazing.
Oh, okay. I thought he was saying Deflator Mouse played Earthworm Jim as well.
I don't think, that was Dan Castellaneta, I think. Didn't Homer Simpson play him?
Oh, really?
I think, I could be wrong.
That would be amazing, dude. You know what? I do not pay enough attention to the voiceover greats from our childhood, man. Like, because those guys were like, there were like 6 of them,
That's all.
and they
There's,
were on everything.
That's how I know their names, because there was only like 6.
Rob Paulson's one of them.
Oh man, Pat Fraley was another. I was at an APAC. I think the APAC where I actually met you for the first time. And one of the things was like, you can get coaching from an established audiobook coach. And I won the lottery or something, and I got to coach with Pat Fraley, which was great. Had a great half-hour session with him. Only after that did I find out he did the voice of Krang on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was like, if I'd known that, we wouldn't have talked about audiobooks.
Yeah. Right. Guy's a fucking legend, dude. I actually
brilliant.
made friends with another one. The guy who played Chairface Chippendale.
Oh wow.
Shit, what's his name? Oh, I'm sorry. Phil Proctor, of course. Phil Proctor played Chairface Chippendale, and it was so
Amazing.
great to meet him. And like, I've stayed at his house now a couple times. When I was
Nice.
in LA. The dude is so cool. He is so fucking cool. He's like older. He's just super old now, but he knows fucking everything, and he has all these amazing stories about coming to LA in the 70s and like the way things were back then, and just
I feel like we were born a decade late
yeah, maybe.
because we just missed this kind. Like voiceovers changing or whatever, and it will always do so. But like back then was just like the fucking And come to LA, we'll fly you down. We've got tons of money.
Yeah.
Get in the studio, you.
Yeah.
Do 26 voices for 18 hours a day.
Right. Now all those producers have like a horde of potential voice actors clawing at them trying to get jobs. So we're not getting that treatment anymore. That's for damn sure.
It was like actors were like, I needed some money, so nobody wanted to do this voiceover thing for the cartoon, so I thought I'd do it. Oh, and you just, developed a legendary career out of that? Fine, yeah, okay, fine.
Exactly. That's the way to do it, man. Well, that's how
this?
it was back then. Now,
It's-
yes. All right. Well, it's time to wrap it up. But before we do, we have one more show happening on Sunday. That is our birthday. That is Halloween. At 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern, we will be having a Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon listening party here on Soundbooth Theater Live. So be sure to watch out for that. Come hang out with us right before you go trick-or-treating with the kids. It's going to be a good time. There's no way we'll be able to make it through the whole thing. I think we're going to listen for an hour and a half. So that'll get us through the first 3 or 4 chapters of episode 1. But that'll be enough to get you guys all lubricated to download the whole thing. And trust me, it's a kaiju. You're going to need a lot of lubrication.
Yeah, if you're a battle surgeon for kaijus, that's not an easy job.
No, it's not made easier by the circumstances by which he is sucked into this game either. So, guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. Ahmed, Rich, thank you so much for being awesome behind the scenes, making this a smooth show. Gary, thank you so much for coming and bringing your damn Irish charm and your fucking good looks and talent, you son of a bitch.
Well, fantastic good looks, yeah.
Yes, thank you so much for being here, everybody. And don't forget about the sale. Sunday, $5 audiobooks.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Put it in your calendar.
I love you all.
Buy books Sunday.
Buy books on Sunday.
Buy books on Sunday.